This is All About Home Construction, and here's your hosts, Terry Cannell Beck and Randy Blake.
That's right. We are live. Good morning, Randy.
Morning, Terry, and everybody out there. And yes, we are.
It's great to be back in the studio on a Saturday morning here on WATA. Ooh, it's been a while.
Yeah.
I'm glad you set your alarm, man. I was worried, poor Randy's been taking it easy, sleeping in.
Yeah.
No, man, for real. Glad to be back in the building here and recording this live on a Saturday morning here to all of our fans that's listening live on WATA. And of course, the podcast has been going strong, and we've got a lot of new listeners recently for the podcast too, thanks to in part thanks to the work we've been doing with All About Home Construction and the Hurricane Helene sort of aftermath, I guess you'd say, resources. So we do appreciate all that and all of our new listeners out there, and it's been fun stuff.
Well, I don't know if it's been fun or not, but it's been an adventure. How about that?
We'll take it. We'll take it. So, yeah. Well, before we get into too much of the show, last week is, of course, first of all, I want to step back a minute and thank the VFW for letting us come in and do our recorded shows so that we could still put something out on a Saturday morning for our listeners out there. And so thanks for the VFW for letting us use their space. It's really appreciated.
Well, let's give a big shout out to all the people in the county.
That's right.
We did 70 meals at that free breakfast.
Sweet.
But then we turned around and did steak night last Saturday night, and we broke a record with 85 meals.
Awesome, man! I'm proud of you.
Now I couldn't feed for free on that, but just the people that turned out, we really appreciate it because that really helped us out.
Sure.
And we will be having another dinner, probably on a Saturday.
Nice.
We had a group of people come out of Ohio.
Cool.
And they donated us already some cooked barbecue.
Yum. All right.
Kibasi.
Sweet.
And brats and some chicken. So
nice. Look forward to hearing about that one.
We're planning on giving that away too. Now we want to do donations because there are people out there that's needing funds.
Right.
That just aren't eligible for FEMA, but we can't give a lot, but we've been giving people money.
That's huge, right?
Well, sometimes I know I'm not trying to insult anybody, but sometimes $1 is better than nothing.
Right.
I mean, no, we're not just giving $1, but
no, but I get what you're saying. It's been nice, and there's that to me is part of the things that we're starting to really see impact now, right? Like now that we're a month into this thing, this recovery here in the North Carolina mountains, and we got such an influx, which is very needed, right? Like quick stuff, generators, water, food, things like that. But now we're a month into it, and sort of that prolonging issues are coming in, right?
Yep.
A lot of people couldn't go to work. And so, there's lots of people whose paycheck were short or non-existing for the last, couple weeks or, that when you could get to the store, there's not a lot of choices always,
Well, we don't have antennas anymore either. So like at my house,
yeah,
I'm not getting any local channels.
Yep.
Yeah, we got the internet, and I depend on local channels to watch the weather every day.
Yep.
To decide on what we're going to do. But we're getting better. Golly, you got to commend everybody out there.
Well,
what they're doing.
Yeah. Places like Blue Ridge Electric where, they had so many people without power and they've gotten so much on, basically everything in Watauga County is back on. I need to look at the map. I'm not sure about Ashe County, but I know they were pretty close to
some people didn't get over in Avery County didn't get power on until Monday night.
Well, they're saying in Yancey County, so on down the next county or two over, they're saying Yancey County could be even longer, several more weeks.
Yeah,
in places. So, yeah,
because one of the members at the VFW is talking about he's got power This was on Tuesday, but they were still running generators above him because they hadn't got the power on the houses.
Okay.
And that was in meat camp. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know all the locations on it, but.
Well, just looking at the Blue Ridge Energy's outage maps, they are completely like 100% back on. Alexander County, of course, what we're looking at is Allegheny, Ashe, parts of Caldwell were affected. Of course, Watauga. They serve about 500 people in Avery, so their section of Avery just crosses over there at like Seven Devils, and then up, that area towards the Parkway. But there's their part, I guess you would say, of Avery County is back on. So again, being here in Boone right now, recording this, big shout out to Blue Ridge Electric. We really appreciate that work. I think it's cool, Randy, to see all the help that we've got. I mean, I saw trucks that from places I didn't even recognize.
Oh yeah, I mean from everywhere. The hay that's been coming in for the farmers.
Yeah.
Now, get a hold of the Ag Center if you need hay or grain, because there is a list, and everybody's going to need it. And some people have already sold their animals because they know they can't feed them through the winter.
Right. Yeah. That's well, and there's so much when you talk about agriculture, right? There's so much like of that, I guess you'd say, infrastructure that's messed up, right? Barns, but fences
are the big thing.
Yeah.
And which we got Beards Creek in front of the house has moved over 30 foot.
Mm-hmm.
And because of the trees that are fell, the culvert that washed out.
Yep.
And so we got a rock dam down there that's filtering water, but it's still not filtering enough for it to go through the fields. So,
wow.
And it's probably about 7 foot deep, that rock is. I told my uncle, I said, we got some new swimming holes up through there.
Yep. Exactly. I did read something. I don't remember where I read this, so I don't want to quote it, but it was talking about how we talk about these geological disasters and geological events that really shift sort of the geology of the land, right? The late makeout. And they said that this is considered one of those geological, disasters, right? This is one of those milestones in geology that has, because so many creeks and riverbeds have shifted a lot. Thanks to this.
And, there's a reason farmers kept their creek banks clean.
Yeah.
And that was to keep this from happening. And the more we plant trees along the creek banks, the more this is going to happen. Because, just not telling everybody that they're wrong, but, about 10 years ago, Clark's Creek was fenced off, which I understand the fencing because of the federal law, 25 foot. But if you go up through there and look now, before the storm, it was trees already falling over.
Mm.
So every time a tree falls over in the creek, that creates a dam.
Exactly. I was reading, going back to that, the geological part, 16,000 landslides have been identified in North Carolina.
I've not even been on the mountain up there. I know I can see 3 behind the house.
And so, then, we've seen, of course, the stuff from like Chimney Rock, right? Like whole towns gone now. It's crazy. I mean, just the impact that it's going to have. I mean, again, we talk so much, historically, about the 1940 flood because it wiped out all the railroad tracks, in the county and in the area. But it seems like every 40 years we get some type of fairly big flood.
Yeah, well, we're always going to get them, but we've never had one like this.
Nope.
I remember one year, DeWitt Barnett Bridge.
Mm-hmm.
It's like 9 foot over the bridge. That's the first time I ever seen it really come down through the bottoms of Valley Cruces. And, since then we've had a couple. We had that one year, we had 3 of those floods in 1 year.
Yep. And
Mother Nature's going to do it. We got to deal with it. And let's just hope the codes don't get too extreme. But, think about if you're going to put a culvert in, now's the time to go ahead and put it in oversized because the one you had washed out because it wasn't big enough.
Yep. Totally. Well, Randy, I think we have a caller on the air. Good morning, caller. Who are we speaking with?
Good morning, guys.
Hey,
I bet
buddy.
you can guess.
How are you doing, man?
Oh, I'm better than I deserve, and a whole lot better than my neighbors up Howard's Creek.
Oh yeah.
They changed the name of it. Something starts with an S now. Oh, it's bad down below the house. Randy knows where I'm talking about, where the bridges were. You're talking about the new bridge that we built down there about a year and a half ago that isn't anymore. It was like 12 feet over the water, and we're making a little bit of progress of getting the trees off the top of it.
What about the private
I
school,
just
Bill?
wanted, real quick, and Randy might know, is there a place locally that you can get some good heavy gauge 5V metal roofing?
You could try Miller Supply, and
Out. Simple.
Yep. Did you have some panels blow off?
Yeah. Me and some other people in the neighborhood.
It's I talked to an insurance adjuster the other day, and he said, well, they still make 5V. I said, yeah, but not all companies make it to the same specs that they did in the 40s and the 50s, 60s. Since a lot of stuff, dyes have changed. A lot of it comes from overseas. It used to be you put 5B up and it wouldn't rust for 20 years, and then you could tell the overseas metal because it starts rusting in 5 years.
Yeah.
That's what that's the thing. I think right now, though, any building materials, but especially those we have to really bring in, like metal and stuff that we can't source a little closer to home. Randy, do we have to worry about just inferior products coming in just for the sake of getting products in?
Well,
Chinese drywall.
Yeah, that's where I'm going with that, Bill.
Yeah. Even though it says it matches our ASTM standards, there's nobody. Now, European metal's real good metal. Our metal, Canadian metal, some Mexican metal, even though it's stamped for the ASTM standard, don't meet it. And to give you an idea, we had Alabama had that one freak snow back in, I guess, in the late 90s or early 2000s where the warehouse fell down. And the purlins were only spanning like 24 feet in that metal building, and it fell. And that was the reason why, because even though it met the ASTM standards, it didn't. Well, it was pretty strict, but not all metal companies are the same, see, because like galvanized, I don't want to sell any roofing that's got galvanized underneath the paint. I want to sell Galvalume. All right.
Okay.
Because the federal government mandates that galvanized needs to be G60. A lot of companies put G40, G30, G50. That was backwards, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But
any suggestions on the manufacturer? Because I know you do some of that.
I used to get mine out of Troutman, Virginia, and but that plant closed down, and it was a real good 5V metal. And but see David Miller and asked him if they got a 26 gauge, because see that'll last for a long time.
Okay. Yeah, I've tried to kind of match up what's on here, because it's been on here probably 40 or 50 years easy.
What you might end up having to do is lay new and go all the way to the end with the new, or rotate some of the older sheets. That way, if it don't match up, at least you can carry on the roof.
Yeah, well, it's on the gable end where it got banged up, and that 70-mile-an-hour wind. I got water in the ceiling on one end of the house, and water in the floor on the other.
I think everybody had water. At least you got a home.
But yeah, I'll send you a picture of the chimney that used to be in the middle of a 4-bedroom house.
Oh,
not real pretty.
Oh man, I'm sorry to hear about that.
Yeah, we'd like to get some pictures coming in for our Facebook page.
Yeah, I talked to a gal that lives up the top of Doe Ridge by the church up there. Said that they found the community dumpster down by the school behind Gooper Peace.
Wow. That doesn't surprise me though. I mean, it's, you know, that Howard's Creek, people don't realize how big of a creek that is. I mean, it's a pretty powerful creek on a normal day. I could only imagine, you know, I didn't get to see that one firsthand. You know, but I can only imagine, especially after seeing some of the destruction of the pictures and you know, the houses and stuff up that way. It's rough, dude. It's rough.
And we got 5 families that are on the wrong side of the creek with no way to get in and out.
Wow.
Counting the one that's not there anymore.
Right. I mean, there's some houses completely gone up that section too.
Yeah. There's a couple of them hanging off in the thin air and the whole 9 yards.
So.
But I need to get up there now that things are settling down at the house, get up there and take some pictures. You wouldn't believe the rock slide up or the landslide up above, down below the falls.
Right. Okay.
It's something spectacular to see that all of those woods are now, it looks like Stone Mountain.
Wow.
Georgia. It's just as smooth as a baby's butt.
So you're saying the downhill side before, like going up before the falls?
Yeah, right before the falls.
I can only imagine, because that's pretty nasty terrain to begin with.
Yeah, well, they had somebody up here, I was told from the Geologic Survey, said this was a 5,000-year flood.
Well, and that was what I was alluding to. I couldn't remember the numbers they had said, but that when they were talking about that being a geological event, it was you know, talking about that, how like this is stuff that we've, especially as a country, have never seen here in the mountains.
Not in my lifetime.
Well, let's just hope we don't have a bad winter.
When the Tater Hill Dam busted, it was bad, but it was there and gone.
Right.
And of course, it went on. This is still going on.
Exactly. Well, and the sad part is, Bill, it's not going away quick, and it'll still be here for a while. And I think this is going to set our infrastructure in the western North Carolina back, you know, several years.
Well, you know, now's the time to start rebuilding these roads.
That's what I'm hoping. I mean, I'm hoping this will be a positive in the end. You know, I'm hoping we could turn this into a positive. Is what I'm trying to say.
I don't know what they're doing on 105 because they pulled the track hose off. No, unless they're putting them somewhere else.
Well, the community response has been just incredible, and Samaritan's Purse is over the top.
Yes, they have been.
They've been in the neighborhood building footbridges across the creek so that my neighbors don't have to hike the mountain and wade the creek. The Samaritan's Purse has been over the top. We got a crew from Oregon down here working on that.
Awesome.
It's just like, wow.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Well,
all right, I'll hush.
Well, Bill, we really appreciate it. Hey, more than that, we're glad you personally you made it out safe.
Yep.
And you know how to reach us if you need anything, buddy.
Send us some pictures, Bill.
All I got to do is look around me and see how blessed I've been.
That's it. Well, thanks a lot, Bill.
Okay, y'all take care.
You too. Take it easy, man. Thanks a lot. So we appreciate Bill, and you know, anybody give us a call after the break, 828-262-1567. We'd like to hear from you. We'll be right back right after the break. Obviously, by listening to this podcast, you see the value of All About Home Construction. Well, by joining our listener supporter community, you're not just tuning in, you're standing with us as we are able to support and fuel our passions of the construction industry. As a listener supporter, you'll enjoy exclusive perks, including hearing your name, or maybe even your business name, on our show. So please go to our Spotify website. The link will be in the show notes, and join. You can join for as little as $1 one-time fee, $1 a month, $5 a month, whatever you think you can afford. Every single penny helps to keep this show going as we can continue to grow and do lots more things. Thanks a lot. And again, more importantly, thank you for listening to this. That's right. All about home construction here on WATA. And again, thanks to all of our listeners out there, those both local and on the podcast. So, it's good stuff. We appreciate it. Appreciate Bill calling in. If you want to give us a call, 828-262-1567. We'd actually like to hear from you and, kind of hear maybe some of the especially when it comes to construction, some of the issues that maybe you're faced with or you've seen or you're curious about. That's what we like to do. Hey, before we go too far, I want to, again, thank VFW for the last couple of weeks, Randy, letting us record and do our pre-recorded shows there so we could have something, new and fresh each week. We couldn't get into the studio with due to the recovery efforts, but thanks to them, of course, thanks to the community for coming out to the dinner last week. So, glad to know that you had a good time there and a good crowd.
That's the best thing about it, is meeting new people, that's never came before, and then still meeting everybody that does come.
Right.
And supported us. But I'd like to go over a list of stuff that we have on hand right now at the VFW.
Yes.
And for people that need help. Now, I'm calling all you moochers, don't come around.
Yeah.
We know how you toilet paper hoarders are, and we have actually given away a box of toilet paper so far.
That's cool.
But we have coats and men, women, and children, and scarves, sleeping bags. We have blankets, clothing, winter hats, neck pillows. Everybody has water, but there's still people out there needs water. We also have cases of MREs. Now, this is not the military MREs. This is, for civilian MREs. So it meets your requirements for a meal a day. We have dog food, baby diapers, baby food, shaving cream, charcoal. Now we have bed pads, to go on the bed for senior citizens and stuff like that. Most people don't think about that, but there's a lot of elders out there that might need help. We have chainsaw chains and sharpeners. We have tents and 2-cycle oil and breakfast first Saturday every month. But, a lot of this stuff right here was donated by the Marine Corps League from the coast of North Carolina.
That's awesome.
And we also, like the water and everything, the moose got flooded out. So
right.
They had a truckload of water going to the hospital, and the hospital turned it down. So they brought it to us, and we're storing it. So we're actually, and some of this stuff was brought by the moose people.
Sweet. Well, Randy, we have a caller on the air. Good morning, caller. Who are we speaking with?
Sir, do you know if FEMA's open today?
I couldn't tell you.
But I will certainly be searching for this right now. I know there were people coming around. Actually, on the other day, I got a whatever you want to call it, a notification in the paper in the on my door. So I know they've been around. I believe they're only on weekdays, but I'm if you hold on 1 second, like I seriously am looking at it right now as soon as I can find it. So I know the of course the online stuff is 24/7. It says the hours that I'm seeing here are Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So that doesn't make sense though. 7 days a week. No. Oh, the phone line is 7 days a week. I apologize.
I was told yesterday the best time to call them is after 8 o'clock at night.
Okay. Center opens. They don't make it easy to find, Randy. At all, but we appreciate that. Sorry we didn't have more information. I will look it up during the break for sure, and see if we can't get those hours out. I just know that I will tell you, for those that don't know, they are at the what they call it, the Enterprise Center, where the health department is over on at the corner of Poplar Grove there,
across from Miller Industries.
Exactly. That is where they're located. I do know that part. But I'm gonna search up the hours here and do a little better job of that.
I was told yesterday by a FEMA gentleman that the best time to call them is after 8 o'clock at night, when most people's on the phones all day long with them.
Mm-hmm.
And golly, think about how many people's in the county probably calling them.
Oh, I'm sure. So according to the FEMA website, according to their press release on October the 14th, it is saying that they're open from 8 a.m. to 7 p.m. Monday through Sunday at the Appalachian Enterprise Center, which, of course, is Poplar Grove Connector here in Boone. So according to the press release that came out on the 14th, I haven't heard anything that has changed those hours. But, yeah, give them a call. That would probably be the smart thing to do if you're living far, if you're out in the county and you're coming in just for that. But according to the press release, they are open until 7 o'clock Monday through Sunday. So, good stuff. We appreciate you giving us a call. Give us a call 828-262-1567. We'd like to hear from you. I don't want to spend a lot of time on this question, but you mentioned when we were talking to Bill about galvanized metal. Is that well, I'll tell you what, we got a caller. I want to save that question for you. We have another caller on the air. Good morning, caller. Who are we speaking with?
Good morning.
Hey, how are you?
I heard you, this is Virginia Fox. I heard you mention the 9 yards, a full 9 yards. What's the expression? I've heard that expression all my life, and several years ago I looked it up, and what it means is to make a man's suit with a vest takes 9 yards of cloth. And so when you've got all 9 yards, you've got a perfect suit. You've got it all in there. I thought your listeners might appreciate it. The other thing I wanted to say is we've been my office and I are working with FEMA, with emergency management. And if anybody has issues that deal with the federal government or that we can help with, our office is available, people in our office. And I wanted to give you the number, the local number. It's 265-0240. So we're happy. We put out in our newsletter this week that in addition to working on the flood issues, which have been very strong in this area, I mean, we've got a lot of issues, we are still doing every other kind of assistance for constituents. So I just wanted to tell people we're there, available to help.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for that. Again, so much of this is, it's national impact as well, right? Like it certainly is Western North Carolina. But so much, through the years, we always hear about, Florida disasters or hurricanes hitting Louisiana or Texas. It's just, I guess it's different because it's usually on the news for us right here in North Carolina.
Right. That's right. And I want to say Samaritan's Purse has done a fantastic job, and all the churches and the volunteer organizations. Yep. I just can't say enough good things about them. I was at my church a couple of weeks ago helping to unload a tractor trailer from Indiana that came from the Masons. And I heard Randy say that the Marine Corps League from down east sent a lot of material up here. But, I've been on national TV and I've been making the appeal that this is a long-term issue. And when I get letters from people and they talk about, making FEMA do this or FEMA do that, and I say, well, look, what our businesses are going to need is for you to come here. Not right now necessarily, although I know there's a game today, and I believe that will help the economy. But long term, the businesses need folks to come here, buy things in the small businesses, stay in the hotels, motels, and eat in the local restaurants. So that's what we need, and it's going to take a long time for us to recover from this. I talked to legislators this week about the money for infrastructure. Our roads are going to need massive work done to them. And what we should be doing is, as much as we can in preventive maintenance, seeing what was hurt by this, culverts that are not large enough, that need to be made larger,
Correct.
Those kinds of things. We need to do things to keep this from happening again. I was with the FEMA people yesterday in an area out in Fosco, and I said to them, as we were looking at a road that needed to be rebuilt, I said, I took a course in statistics once, and I realized this was similar to a 1,000-year flood. I mean, nobody expected. I said, I know that the law of probability is we could have another one of these, not in 1,000 years, but again fairly soon. Now, I said, I hope we don't experience that in my lifetime. But what we need to do is think about that and build toward that, knowing it could come in less than 1,000 years. So that's the emphasis that I've been putting on things with the state and with the federal government. Let's not do things just for the short term, but for the long term.
Well, and that's what I was trying to say.
That's what we always talk about.
I mean, earlier when I was saying, like, hopefully this will, and again, trying to turn this into a positive, right? Like, I mean, which is hard to do, but I don't know, too many times I feel like, and this is going to sound like I'm, talking to you. I mean, I know you work as the representative, so I'm not like talking to you. I mean, I'm talking with you. But that is like, I think too many times, as far as the government, at least the impression to me is always like, well, we'll just keep throwing money at, we'll keep putting Band-Aids on. And to me, this is the time where infrastructure wise, like, we've destroyed the infrastructure. Let's take that time now to patch it up for the short term, but like, let's build that back where it's going to, last and improve. I mean, and to me, that's just common sense, because if we're, if I'm a kid playing in the creek in the middle of summer, building a dam on stacking rocks and playing in the creek, when it washes out, next time I'm going to build it different. I'm going to make it, and like, let's learn from this, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Right. Yeah, and that's exactly what we need to do. And individuals need to do that also, as much as they possibly can, is what can we do to keep me from having damage again. We had the Army Corps of Engineers out here yesterday, and I learned a lot from that. If you look at the Watauga River out here near us, right in the middle of the river, there's 6 to 8 feet high boulders that wash down through here, right in the middle of the river. So now, instead of having the river run through the middle of the riverbed, it's running on both sides. Right. And that's just going to invite more erosion of the banks. And what we need is to move those rocks from the middle of the river over to the side to stop the erosion of the banks. And I found out from the Corps, I was told by one person, we can't go into the river and move those rocks. But the Corps said, yes, you can. You can't go into the river, but from the side of the river, you can get a machine and move those rocks to the side. And those are the kinds of things that we need to be doing. We need to think long term. So I agree with what you guys are talking about. And I hope that's the attitude that people will take. And again, I want to sing the praises of Samaritan's Purse. I met with a commissioner and a school board member from Wilson this week, this was their second trip up here from Wilson, North Carolina, to help. And they'd been out with chainsaws cutting things up. They had to take a break because they were waiting for machinery to come in to help with one particular situation where it was too dangerous for the people to work on it. But we got people coming from all over the country. I heard that there were machines, big machines coming in from the Midwest with people helping Samaritan's Purse with river issues. That's so awesome. I'm just extremely proud to live here and to see all the wonderful work that's been done. And I thank you guys for talking about it.
Yeah, thank you. And, again, if people need to reach out to your office, 265-0240
right.
is that number?
We will do everything we can to help. Again, we're working with FEMA. We're working with emergency management. That's the first place to go, as we've been told over and over again. And then we'll help with follow-up on that.
Awesome. Well, thanks again.
Thanks,
Representative
guys.
Fox, thanks for calling in.
Bye-bye.
I really appreciate it. Yep, good luck and be safe, and thanks again. So, awesome. Well, there we go. And that's some really cool information. We appreciate her calling in. So, Randy, let's take another break. We'll be right back right after this. The Boone VFW Post 7031 is looking at making improvements to their Veterans Memorial Wall, and you can help. Here's Chuck.
We could do engraved bricks to cover the memorial. It's in honor of the veterans who have served and some that have given their all for our country. And that's the one thing that we feel as the VFW that we can do to honor those who have come before and those who are even present today.
But Chuck, what do we have to do to participate?
You don't have to be a war veteran in order to be a part of this memorial. It's just that you served.
What is the cost?
That fee is only $50, but it's a lifetime investment.
If you would like to help participate by honoring a family member, a friend, or a loved one, you can contact the Boone VFW Post 7031 at 828-264-9570. They are on VFW Drive just off of State Farm Road here in Boone. Thank you for all that I've served. That's right. All About Home Construction here on WATA. Thanks for listening to us. All About Home Construction on the podcast as well as here on WATA. Talking a little bit just sort of the recovery efforts and things like that from Helene and the impact in the local area. Randy, last night Watauga High School football game. They won, by the way. It was a great game. But I was I get the privilege to talk to Scott Elliott, Josh Scott on the broadcast, and it's a lot of fun. But Dr. Elliott is working now with the Blue Ridge Conservancy, and I know now they're getting a push of at least there should be some interest at least of people trying to protect these watersheds and things like that. Because I think that's one of the things that we're realizing now, right, is sort of that land protection that when there's no, for instance, when we look at town, right, there used to be a time when Blowing Rock Road here did not flood, right? Now the water has nowhere to go because there's buildings and pavement and stuff.
So the ground's not absorbing
exactly.
And first off, the culverts aren't big enough to handle the flow of all the pavement.
Right. So now I think we see that. And give Dr. Elliott a call. Give the Blue Ridge Conservancy. I think it's really cool. And it's a good point, I think, to realize, again, making a positive out of what we can from this and
moving forward and hope that elected officials makes it better.
Right. So, yeah.
And, watch these college kids out here. Because I tell you what, they've been flying.
Yeah. I will say, though, the immediately after there was we give college kids a hard time here because, they're young people. But I will say I've been impressed with the groups of college students that have been trying to help the community, with Samaritan's Purses and places like that. And coming out and help cleaning. So that's been cool. But, yeah.
Well, you know what? It's truly amazing the amount of people that has volunteered, and I've seen on the side of the road picking up. Mm-hmm. Got to condemn the National Guard too, because they were working on a lot of ditches.
Yeah,
getting the flow better.
I saw. I remember when saw that. Well, there's been multiple, but I saw that one convoy come in. And I keep mentioning this because I keep seeing it. Well, it was like last week, I think it was. I texted you. I saw another Kentucky DOT truck, and maybe I think I may just be like living in the area where they're working, but I love that because it's just that again, just the neighbors, I guess you would say, helping us out, and it's really cool to see. And I love. How many times have we said, Randy, on the show, we take care of ourselves here, right?
Well, we do.
And I think this has just been the biggest example of that in the last couple of weeks.
Well, 421 is going to be closed for a while. And, 321 is the only way you can get to Mountain City.
Right.
But they're stopping any big truck. It's hard to get a big truck down Griggs Road at the lake.
Well, the problem we're running into is just because you can get through from trees and stuff, there's a lot of roads that are washing out and just they don't have the underneath to support it.
Well, that's what happened to 88. Take 88 and go hit Ford's Creek. I don't know exactly where you hit it, where you come out at Food Line at Mountain City.
Right.
But the big trucks is breaking the roadway. And I know big trucks have run those highways. And but that's the important part, just like in front of my house where the road caved in.
Have they even looked at that?
They come every couple of days, but we run a tape back through there, and the road's hollow underneath in front of my house, 15 feet.
Wow!
And it's starting to crack a little, but
it's only going to take one truck to go through.
Get
it the right way.
Me cleaning the driveway, if it wouldn't been for the road falling in after I went across it with my tractor. And if I'd not been paying attention, then I'd have busted a tire down in that thing or busted the pavement. If it'd been a front one, I could have got it out with the front end loader.
Right.
Been a rear one, I'd probably busted a tire.
Right. Well, again, I think, that infrastructure is going to be key, how we move on from here. Again, I keep talking about the 40 flood, right? All the railroad tracks washed away. We didn't necessarily come back with railroad tracks, but we learned from that. We learned we don't clear cut the land now. We learned that, when we do build back, our bridges are better now. And I don't know. That's just where I'm at on it. So, but again, just amazed at all the help, all the supplies. I know you had mentioned also the VFW, places like that having supplies. I have a good friend in Virginia that's sending some sleeping bags down in the next week or two, and blankets and things like that. So reach out to us on the Facebook page, All About Home Construction. We have the email address, allabouthomeconstruction@gmail.com. If you're listening to this during the week or on the podcast, or you're wanting to get in touch with us during the week, please reach out. We'd love to see some pictures, of things that may be big or small that you have going on because of this, and ways that we could help and direct, repairs and things like that. I'd love to see some something, some chimney leaks and things like that, that we can, if we could help out.
Seeing a lot of gutters tore off house, facial
lots,
boards.
yeah.
You can call the VFW 828-264-9570. Now, during the week, Monday through Thursday, they open at 3.
Okay.
Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, they open at 1. And because there's nobody not going to make a special trip to come in, not unless you come in and we're doing breakfast or something.
Sure.
Or getting ready for a dinner. So.
Well, that's cool. And again, just help out. And thanks to all of the listeners out there. Those that have called during the breaks, we appreciate that as well. And we're all slowly we're gonna recover from this. That's what we do. Appalachian mountain people, we don't give up.
No, when Kentucky had that flood,
mm-hmm.
the Marine Corps League, the VFWs through the state carried 2 trailer loads of clothing, dishes, stuff up there to Kentucky. So what goes around comes around.
That's it. Again, it's just we're a month out, right? This is when the shock is starting to set in. So just don't get discouraged. Just know that we just one step at a time. We'll get through it. So.
Let's just hope we don't have a bad winter.
Well, I mean, not to sound negative at the end, but I do. I'm like you. I worry You know, we've had so many temporary fixes on power lines and roads and stuff that I'm afraid if we get a nasty ice storm, the trees that didn't fall are about to fall, kind of thing.
Now would be a good time to complain to the state about our road system that should have been done 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So,
well,
a lot of people don't like what I have to say, but the road system should have come before the college expansion started.
Yeah. I mean, I get it. The infrastructure in general needs to be improved. Now's the time to do it, though. Let's do it better this time.
Let's do it once. My philosophy is do it once and forget about it.
It's what we do when we build our own houses, right?
That's right.
So, well, anyway, thanks again to all of our listeners out there, both local and international. We have some international listeners to the podcast, so thank you for that. And just the outpour, we want to say thank you from those that are helping neighbors and those that are off the mountain that are helping as well.
And look at the VFW Post 7031 Facebook. They do have a GoFundMe.
Sweet.
And that is not for the VFW membership. This is for the community. Well, if there's a veteran in need, yes. But it's for anybody that needs funds.
Love it. Well, thanks again. And Randy, I guess now that we're back in the studio, hopefully I'll get to be here next week. We'll see you then.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to All About Home Construction on the podcast. We record this live every Saturday on AM 1450 and FM 96.5 WATA in Boone, North Carolina. You can become a supporter by supporting this with a small monthly donation, and that'll help sustain future episodes. You can do that for as little as 99 cents a month, and that'll go a long way to help our show. Do that, you get your name or your company name included in our advertisements. Thanks a lot. We'll see you next time.